All right, recording is on, and thrilled to have the Jan and Feb Challenge coaches online. Let's kick off with our gratitude fire round. I can go first. Had a crazy gut for about 10 days or so, and this past week just really getting present to what I'm eating. And there was like some processed stuff that started coming to my food. There's these corn vegan slices that I started, and they were like high protein, but they were the chicken, CHICK''N vegan slices, and they were just so good and so tasty. But like I really felt my gut shift and just recognize what am I eating that's not serving me. And for 10 days I had crazy gut issues. And last week completely shifted my diet and feeling just 100% and amazing this past week. So minor food tweaks, even when we think we know it all, causes miracles. That's me. Who's next?
I'll go next, Claire. Yeah, I've also got the food thing going on. Like, I feel like my morning routine and my routines have just become tighter. So I just feel like so healthy and vibrant. Like, I feel like almost I'm pregnant, even though I'm not. You know, you just look after your body so well. I feel like that. So I feel really good. And my buddy, who we've spoken every day, and we're just doing great. So I feel really pumped up.
Okay, I'll go next. Can you hear me? I can't hear any sound.
Yeah, can hear you.
Okay, got it. So I'm grateful this morning to be in my amazing new town, in my new house, away from all the hysteria of the world. I am truly grateful for health, for common sense, and for education around health. And this morning I am grateful for my family and my wonderful husband.
Thank you, Emma.
Yeah, I'm grateful for. Oh,
go for Tom.
Yeah, I'm grateful for my family as well. I think with the coronavirus stuff, it's kind of had us galvanize together and say, right, what do we need to do to look after ourselves and kind of be safe and healthy. And it's been quite nice, actually. It's been kind of the three of us at home, just putting a few things in place. And yeah, really grateful for my wife for her support. And yeah, just for family. That's really what's there for me. Just grateful for family in general.
Yeah, so can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, what I'm grateful for is, just health, just having so much community around us, having lots of, guidance, education, and yes, everyone's, family, just that everyone's okay, and just being able to be in a place where, we can help create a more positive environment, where we can add to it. So just having so much knowledge that we can just be, we can, a simple smile can make such a big difference to people. So just being able to have that awareness that, if we are creating everything around us, that we have that ability to just, just have that sort of power within us. Yeah. So yeah, just really grateful for that.
Thank you very much, Jag. And now I'm going to screen share and have one of you unmute yourselves and loudly, with 100% energy, generate our objectives of what it is to be a FITBANKER coach. And I just want to say, guys, as you're generating it, can all of you just hold a space for each other? I've just got to go and get Kanea off the toilet because I hear mommy, I finished being yelled for 5 minutes. So please generate it. And I will be back in 2 minutes. But can everybody see the screen right now? All right, so can one of you please unmute yourselves and generate this? I'm just gonna be back in 2 minutes.
I'll go. Okay, FITBANKER, the Inspiring Life series, welcome to life. Objective: through being a FITBANKER coach, I will be someone who, 1, upholds my own relationship to food, exercise, and myself. 2, understands the real role of my body, mind, and intellect. 3, leverages social media to inspire my community and my world to live a healthy lifestyle to transform lives. 4, is a health leader and a go-to person in my community. Social media is now filled with positive, healthy, and inspiring content. The world and the lives around me are now inspired and choose to start living life.
Shall we share from that? Emma, do you want to share what's there for you to start off?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on a sec. Hang on a minute. Just a minute. Ethan, just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute.
Or any of us, I guess we can share, Emma, because I know you're busy with Ethan. So I'll share, I guess, what's coming up for me when you generate that objective while we wait for Ambika. So I think what's there for me is, we got Ambika back.
Carry on sharing, Tom.
Yeah, Emma just generated the objective, and we're just going around to share from the objective.
Go for it.
What's there for me? What's there for me is that I had an expectation of how I would do the program as a coach, and I haven't been doing it the way I expected to do it. And every so often I make myself a little bit wrong about that, and then I catch it, and then I draw a line in the sand, and I go again, and it kind of keeps repeating. And then there is part of me kind of says like, oh, can I never just like stick to something like perfectly and do it? And I know it's not about being perfect, but yeah, like there definitely is some. And then I'm like, oh, but then if I'm not doing it this way, then how can I expect my participants to do it? But then I go back to like, but actually I'm not doing it that badly. I'm just not doing it perfectly. So there's this whole kind of thing that's going on. And it's really great just to see how different it is being a coach on this program versus a participant. That's definitely come up for me recently, and it's been a whole different world, and I'm just learning new things. So I'm definitely seeing the kind of responsibility of a coach in terms of being a clearing for the people around me, and just kind of being honest and authentic with the people that I'm coaching. Not hey, I'm Coach Tom, I'm perfect. That doesn't work. It's really just being honest and authentic with them. So that's what I'm taking on going forward as a FITBANKER coach, and I'm loving that. I'm discovering new things about this. Part of me is like, oh, I did the program, I know it. It's just a case of like doing the program as designed, and it's as easy as that. Actually, there's a lot more to it as a coach, which is great. It makes it more exciting and challenging for me to develop. There's always somewhere to grow. That's what I'm seeing.
Thanks for sharing that, Tom. And what I hear from that also is this distinction of not only what does it look like to be a coach, and then be a perfect coach or one who's constantly standing in learning and growing, but more importantly, how does life look like when we're playing for ourselves versus playing for others, right? And at times for some, the latter becomes, like I see that in Simran right now, the way she's taken on doing the program is more active than I've seen her be when she was a participant, because it's something else at stake, and it's like I've got to know my stuff in order to be able to support somebody else, right? And that came from a place where she didn't do the programs as per design, and she owned it, and she would still like do the trackers and put all zeros there. Whereas, you may be in an entirely different space, and neither is right or wrong or good or bad, but it's literally for us to get present to how do we show up when we're wearing different hats for ourselves, for our community, for others. And to your point around how do we elevate our game, and also why can I never just stick to something and be, a master at it? I don't think any of us are in that space currently in life. And I think that's the beauty of it, that we are constantly on that learning journey. And for you really took on your 90-day challenge. And hence you got the most, you got the award that you got, which was it the most coachable Fit Banker of the year? Or the best Fit Banker of the year?
Most coachable.
Yeah, because that was you. Like, you took on doing the challenge 200% as per design, which was just really extraordinary and outstanding. And you're at that level now where your health is optimized to a large degree, right? And it's then what? And it's, I think, where I want to invite you to stand in now is, and this is what Claire shared, her concern when she started coaching on the FIP challenge was, I already kind of have my health and fitness sorted. So, doing the 747 isn't particularly inspiring. And like, if there's days I don't track it, it's that baseline's already there. But what there is to look at is that being healthy is not just the 747, it's all 5 pillars. So where do you grow around sleep, around mindfulness, around really how your mind is perceiving every reality, and then also around relationships, right? So what for you is your next stage of growth? And this is to every single one of you coaches now, is none of you should only be sitting on the 747 as what your accountability is. And buddies for each other, listening in as well, Pri and Jesse, where you've got to up your game is consider the baseline for you guys is set. And there's some aspects of it that you got to tweak and master a little because there's some slack may have come in. But what does an upgrade look like for each one of you? If you really want to have all 5 pillars be at the optimal level, that's a game to play, right? 747 is just looking at the 2 pillars, which is physical activity and exercise, and the 3 other pillars which become more critical as you're advancing and really looking at what optimal health and well-being looks like. And the more you focus on those, that's where the stability and steadiness starts coming into your everyday routine and practices, moving away from the yo-yo effects. All right, well, thanks for sharing that, guys, and thanks for holding the space. Speaking of mind and perception, let us look at the bug in the room, or in the world rather, coronavirus. And we have a FITBANKER trek on today. And this year, at the start of the year, we created leadership and we created FITBANKER leaders. And Gurjeet Rana, who many of you may know, she was a participant on our Jan challenge and she took on doing Kilimanjaro last year with Jag. Her and Jag's husband, Sunil, are trek leaders for this year. And the leadership on the mountains is just remarkable, as is actually everybody's, Jags, and so many other people that show up on the treks on a regular basis. And Gurjeet called us yesterday with a real concern around coronavirus. And she herself had hosted an event last week where she said none of that concern was there, but all of a sudden, with how much things have progressed in the past week, there's a big concern. And we have 22 people RSVP'd. It is one of our smaller treks because now our average number is, we typically have about 35 people sign up, and that's families, kids, adults, everybody. And so we had 22 people, so numbers did look slightly lower, and I get the concern is probably around the virus in some aspect. And we have to be really responsible. So we got on a call and looked at it. And there's one aspect which is, all right, we've got to be super precautious, and everything that the NHS is putting out there is preventative, right? Which is wash your hands, be mindful of avoiding social gatherings. And you see that all over in the city. Like all of our corporate events, as I mentioned to many of you separately, have been canceled. Conferences in the city, everything's been canceled. And so it takes something for people to be responsible as a brand and not say, I don't think it's going to get to us, and let's just carry on and we'll be fine, based on good hope and faith. So there's responsibility with following what the recommended preventative guidelines are. And then there's really panic. And the two very, very different spaces to stand in. Being responsible is taking all the necessary measures. Panic is the one that sets the mind into that complete stress state, fight or flight, and your body then, that sympathetic nervous system that we cover in webinar 8 gets triggered. What happens when that gets triggered is contrary to what we think, with all the panic and fear and then isolation, is we actually do suppress and compromise our immune system because we're putting our body in that state of stress, right? Now, that's not to say, therefore, don't isolate yourself. No, take the necessary measures. If you need to stay at home because your work is saying work from home, or if you're feeling symptoms coming up, do so, but it's how your mind is perceiving it. That is what I'm alluding to. And for today's trek, we had to be 100% responsible. We shared on the trek's chat for every single person to be responsible. We share the NHS guidelines and the do's and the don'ts, and said, we're still going to go carry out the trek because people will show up. You're actually going to be out in nature. And if anything, it's going to be more healing and recuperating than being cooped up either, I don't know, on trains in the city or in your own home, hoping that Armageddon doesn't happen or the aliens don't come and get you, right? So it's how we perceive situations. So there is a virus, there is a bug out there. It is contagious. And people and scientists and medics don't know the extent of its impact currently. And so you've got to be smart around that. At the same time, you've got to own not giving into the fear and look at where does life continue and where do you completely put a stop on all aspects of life. And we have to be responsible around not imposing anything on anybody. And we really had to be clear with that yesterday. We're like, if people do not want to show up, then that's for them, right? That's their choice. We can't drag anybody out or coach them around it. We can simply put our stance out there. But the fear and the panic that is kicking in most people, I'm seeing that on multiple WhatsApp groups, is actually quite detrimental. So as FITBANKER coaches, I really wanted to share this with you guys and also hear from you the headspace you guys are in with where the world is at currently.
Okay, I'll share. While I get that, yeah, there is a virus and there's, you know, huge problems. I suppose, like, I'm looking at Spain because Spain's they've declared a state of emergency, and obviously Italy and places like that. I just can't help but, like, you know, yesterday I was talking to my neighbor, two neighbors, and we're all like in the space of yes, we've got to be, you know, precautious, but it's like, for me, it just feels like I haven't been following anything. I haven't been following media. I haven't been following and getting caught up in what's good media, what's not good media, how is it reported. I haven't gone there, right? So I've kind of, it's not because I don't care, it's because I don't feel that right now what's important to me and to the community that I live in, and even the global, is that I stay calm and that I stay present to daily life, because I think that that's kind of gone out the window. I mean, you know, people bulk buying and doing all these crazy things. I just think it's just all driven by fear. And I don't want to say that there isn't a problem either, because there obviously clearly is, because people have died, right? But I just don't want to take part in that fear, and I won't, and I must stand that humanity stops running, especially around like viruses or other areas of life, that they stop coming from a place of fear. And I'm a massive stand that we come from a place of peace and love. So that's where I'm coming from today, and that's where I've been coming from. And slowly but surely, like, schools have been closed here, and the parents groups and people are coming on. People are actually staying indoors and not even going outside. And I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy. For me, that's crazy. Like, and yeah, people are just being, I guess they're just taking it the way that they want to take it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just, I think to be honest, it's about coming together as a nation, globally, right? And staying together. And the only way that we're gonna shift Corona is by is by coming from that place. I believe anyway, right? And that's where I'm at.
Thanks, Emma. One thing, if I may offer there, is with people not coming out of their homes, and this is something we discussed at length yesterday, is I'd love for every single one of us to bring, and I'm actually just going to request everybody put their cameras on so we're all present on this conversation. But I'd love for all of us to bring that space of non-judgment to whoever. Like, it could be our neighbor. Like, I see in Kanya's school WhatsApp chat, the parents are completely freaking out. They're like, should we send our kids to school this week or not? And something Ronnie said to me is, catch yourself when you get reactive to want to defend it with the science that we know, and just be in this conversation and hold a space that people can choose to react how they do, and at the same time we bring a space of non-judgment. And that's been a good space to stand in the last 24 hours, whereas prior to that my mother-in-law was sending a million forwards about all the worst case scenarios, and it was just every single one of them was triggering me. And it was like, stop bombarding my inbox. I don't want to see this crap. This is all negative news. How much time do you have on your hands? Like, it was just on and on and on, like making her, like really making her wrong. And the impact is on us. Like, when we have a judgment out there of others and how they're reacting to coronavirus, the impact is certainly on us. So I may not be fearing the virus, but I'm certainly triggering a stress response within my body because of how I'm judging others who are reacting away, right? So catch yourself there, and let's really hold a space of allowing humanity to be as is, while we stand in our values and what it is that we need to be responsible around. But thanks for sharing that, Emma.
I really think that this is going to bring everybody closer together in communities, right? It's like when something, it's a bit like, I know I'm saying it in a roundabout way, but when the shit hits the fan, people get together, you know? People stand in solidarity, and that's what we need to do, right? Well, there's no need. People are going to do what they're going to do, but I just feel that already with my neighbours, and I only just moved here.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? Anything they need to get off their chest? Get present.
Yeah.
Tom, go for it.
I'd like to share
herself too. So Claire after Tom, please.
Okay, just very quickly then. So I'm kind of in mixed minds. I'm definitely not scared or living in fear out of it, and I'm in mixed minds of whether just to go about my life the normal way with some precaution of, like, you know, extra using hand sanitizer more often or that kind of stuff, or whether to lock down a little bit to not catch it. And me and my wife have been discussing this, and I don't think we've kind of come out to an answer, because like today, for example, it's Saturday. I'd love to just go out and go to the gym and do the normal stuff. Part of me, like, if I go to the gym, there's a chance I could catch something there. I bring it home, then my wife gets it, and Noah might get it. But then also, we'll just get through it if we do get it. I'm kind of ready. Like, I might already have it, because they say it takes 14 days before the symptoms come up. So if I have it, I have it. And I've been following a few sports people who have caught it and they've got through it in a couple of days, and, you know, they're healthy, fit. Might not be on their level of fitness, but I'd like to think I'm not too far off. So yeah, I don't know. And I mean, tomorrow I've signed up for a half marathon, which I'm doing tomorrow, and they haven't cancelled it. My wife's like, maybe you shouldn't go because you're going to be around a lot of people and you could catch something. And then I'm like, oh, I'd like to go and do this run. So I'm a bit in mixed minds, actually. And I was just hoping to get a bit of sense from you guys of like even with a half marathon tomorrow, should I go and just, if I get it and just enjoy the half marathon, or be safe and just do a little run locally where it's a bit safer because I'm not around as many people? I haven't, as you can see, I'm a bit on the fence with it all, but definitely not coming from fear, as Emma was saying. I thought that was great what you said, Emma.
So medically, and something we're not seeing is we went to this workshop on Wednesday, which is all about business accelerators, nothing to do with the virus. But the guy, Daniel Priestley, he's amazing. I'd heard a lot about him just recently in the last 2 months. Everybody even seemed to be talking about him. And he's done quite a few books. And so he's talking about demographics. He's like, how do you know where your business is progressing? Start looking at demographics. And remarkably, he looked at just the demographics of the human population. And he said the baby boomers that were born post-war, the Second World War, 1949 onwards, were procreating like there was no tomorrow because they could. The families were finally united. There are people having 5 or 6 kids. And now those people are 70 or 80 years old. And the demographic in most countries currently, instead of looking like a pyramid, which is like lots of young generation and then less older generation, is actually an inverse pyramid where the baby boomers are currently the largest population, and then millennials and others are getting smaller and smaller because people aren't procreating, our lifestyles have changed. But in that, he said that the people who are most susceptible to this virus are the baby boomers, i.e. people who are currently 70, 80 years old. And the country with the largest population of baby boomers is Italy. And so, and which country is currently in lockdown? It's Italy, right? And so even in the US, looking at the statistics of people who've died, and in other nations here, it is senior citizens who are most susceptible currently. That's not to say that, like, I don't know like how susceptible pregnant women are. And I was not following the news at all. Like, I kind of put a blanket approach, which is like noise. And then just this past week, I started tuning in to like educate myself on where things are at. So with the gym, so that's one thing, just around like susceptibility and exposure to it, right? You're a super fit male. And I think with how you're currently alkalizing your body, your lifestyle, I don't want to say your risk is low, but I think it medically is low. So Ronik's been going to the gym every day this week. He went all 5 days and was really responsible around that. For me, going to the city at work a week ago, so not this past week that just ended, the week before that, my work colleagues our office is in Somerset House, which is like a tourist attraction. It's a hub. And they're like, Ambika, I don't think you should be coming in. There's nothing out there that has done research and shown the susceptibility of pregnant women. And often I forget I'm pregnant, right? So I'll go out on treks, I'll do stuff, and then I'll show up at work, I'll go out on meetings, and my body feels physically different, but mentally I don't feel any different. And I was like, am I being irresponsible? Because I don't know the impact on the fetus. I don't know the impact on me. And so this past week I worked from home, and just being mindful that I am 8 months pregnant now. Maybe I need to think of, I don't know, the unknown right now, but life continues as normal. And so there's that aspect to it as well. But one thing we've done is at home, there's a sanitizer at the entrance. As soon as we walk in from anywhere, and we've been on the tube a lot this week, going to meetings, is just wash your hands when you come back. So it's best practices is what we're doing. Again, I can't tell you what to do or not to do. But I know if I'm channeling Ronnie, he would say, go for the half marathon. But it definitely is your call.
Yeah, I got it. No, that helps. Thank you for sharing what you guys are doing, and I'm not expecting you to tell me what to do.
Yeah,
because it's up to me. And yeah, okay, cool. Thank you,
Claire.
Well, okay, so I'll tell you about my situation. Right, so my partner is really, he must be reading the press a lot, and he's obsessed by it. He's like, we're going to leave London. He wants me to leave London and go and stay in an Airbnb for 2 weeks out of London, take the kids out of school. And he's like, sending me these messages. I was like, okay, we'll sort something out. And he's like, no, you're just blowing me off. You're not taking it seriously. And I said to him, what's your real concern? And it's like, he thinks somehow the kids are going to die or his parents are going to get really sick. And I'm like, it's not affecting kids. We're healthy. The truth is, the good thing that's come out of it is he's actually not so healthy. He's got a chronic cough that he always has. He smokes weed every day. I think he still smokes tobacco. And I said to him, look, will you start eating the same food as me and the kids? And he said, yeah. I was like, great. I said, can I buy some vitamins? Okay, start taking them. So he like wants me to like leave London by Monday. And he's staying in the house and stay here because his parents actually just had one parent in hospital. And he's like, well, I can't leave London. I'm like, well, so now I'm in a situation where we've got this family's house in the Lake District. So we can go and stay there for free. But I'm going to just say to him, look, why don't we stay together? Like either we all go or we all stay. So that's what's going on for me.
How are you feeling about that?
Well, I feel like yesterday I was like, I'm not going. And I thought I'm just going to carry on my life as normal, wash the hands. And I thought, I'm not disrupting the kids. I'm not changing their routine. And then I started to realize I was doing my thing where I'm dominating. So I started to listen to him and I was like, okay, well, let's find a plan together. So not like, what's there for me is I'm like, well, right now I've got quite a good balance. Like I'm a mum, but I'm also work part-time. And I'm like, if I go for 2 weeks, I can't really work. Like my routine's going to change. Like I've started going to the gym. There's no gym there. So I feel like, but I'm also excited if we all go together as a family because it feels like we could do loads of long walks. like I know who I am and I can't stay in the house. There's no way I'm staying in the house. So
Yeah.
the idea of going to the Lake District and being out in nature for 2 weeks feels really good.
Mm.
So I feel like, I don't know, I'm like,
So like you said, there's a silver lining. So firstly, thanks for sharing that. And it certainly is, like my colleague hired this associate earlier this year, and he, every time I go into work in the morning, he's like, oh my God, Ambika, I don't know if you saw the news, but whew, I went through this dark rabbit hole yesterday and I watched, and that's how my day starts. I was like,
Yeah.
Will, and this guy's like amazingly fit. But I think the concern is for humanity for him, because this guy did Kili in 3 days, like he runs marathons. He's like, he's like super, super fit. And yet there's like a concern. I was like, Will, what are you really like concerned and afraid of? But I get it. Like when you're with somebody 24/7 whose mindset is on a completely different realm to where you are at, how do you manage that, right? But also, how do you do it in a way that doesn't diminish them and make them feel like they're, and somebody said that to me there, another colleague said that, you know, I get your approach, but it could be destructive for certain people, well, she put it as junior staff. You know, the post Jag shared, I shared that with my team in London, that came from Bruce Lipton. And in response to that, this colleague who's one of the directors responded, and our team in London is, there's 8 of us, all of them are into like mindfulness, spirituality, like consciousness. And so very consciously shared with people who would understand that lingo versus doing a global blast to people who have no context of this way of thinking. And yet the person who goes to Vipassana and like 10 days of meditation, retreats, etc., responded saying, I hear you, I'm as hippie as you are, but I think this email is more destructive than anything, even though you had good intentions, because there's such confusing data out there, and it's almost telling people what to do versus, you know, and almost telling people not to be alarmed or afraid, because there actually is a virus out there. And I was like, thanks for sharing your concerns. And if anybody was upset, then let me know. But it was very responsibly shared with people I know would get it. And I think if John's in a different headspace to where you're at, then it takes giving up something, Claire, of how you relate to John. You know, there is a John is, you have a fixed, there is a certain way he may occur for you. And giving that up and and I love that you inquired on his concerns. That's beautiful. I love that you got to distinguish through this process that there are health issues and he's willing to shift that. That's like remarkable. Like those for me seem like 2 big wins, that you're listening in and that he's getting present to where the smoking isn't working, where he can do what you and the boys are eating. That's huge. And there's still a concern he has around his kids and his wife's well-being. And what I'm hearing is he's concerned the kids are going to die of this, right? And also like one of his parents is in the hospital now. So they're real valid concerns. And the initial phase of the news that came out was senior citizens and kids are most susceptible. So there is media that is backing his concerns at this stage. And I guess for you, it's looking at, or actually asking you now, how does John occur for you? I'm so sorry I keep saying Tom because I have Emma's Tom in my mind. But how does John occur for you, and what do you need to let go of right now such that you can truly create a partnership with him in how the next minute, moment, days unfold?
Right, how it occurs to me is he's a bit neurotic.
Yeah.
Like he's literally taking it to the extreme of like because I said, oh, go and stay with my dad, and he's like, no, we can't stay with your dad because we might have it already, we might give it to your dad. So he's literally, he thinks he's being responsible for his family, and he's like, but I feel like he's extreme.
Okay, so John's extreme, he's neurotic. What else?
He's also like polar. He's got like a polar vision.
Yeah.
Like he just like, this is the way, there's no other way. I don't agree with the government, I don't agree with what people are saying, they're all mental. We have to protect our family.
Okay, got it. And anything else there around his health or anything else?
Well, what's really there for me as well is he's actually worried about his own health, because he's not that healthy. Like, he doesn't exercise very much.
Yeah.
He doesn't eat very healthy. Like I think actually he's probably got underlying health issues that he's unaware of, and he's never doesn't want to look at. So Like he almost feels like if me and the kids get it, we'll give it to him and he'll get affected.
Okay, got it. And if you could just literally park all of that aside, if we just use the resistance exercise, like I hear you're getting him, but I also hear the resistance in his communication to you, right? And the resistance is coming in this form. You created with Jag the partnership in the marriage as well as something that he wanted to build, right? And consider this, like this is how it shows up. We don't create partnerships out there when life is perfect. This is an opportunity, a window where partnership will demonstrate itself unfolding or separating, right? I don't mean separating in the partnership, but just as a phenomenon in terms of what you're creating out there. How do you create a new realm where a new type of partnership and collaboration shows up between you and John? And it will take giving up. He's neurotic. Like, you may have all the perfect evidence lined up, Claire, but park that aside. In this moment, this human being's communicating X to you. And if you could park aside that this guy he has his own concerns of his own existence and everything else is being masked around that, or neurotic or whatever else, right? Then like there will be a different space for you to show up in that. And Jag, as Claire's buddy, really, really want you to hone in on this with her, because this is an important one. And it's something we can't dismiss because it's in our face every moment on the news. And if somebody's reading the news every single moment, they're 100% conditioned. What the mind right now is for him is perceiving is just red flags, danger, human race being wiped out. And there's a fear of his own self being wiped out, and it's impacting the marriage, kids, everything. And so like really, how do you get to hold Claire accountable to getting letting go of existing perceptions of John is the way John is. This conversation is not about changing John. It's about how do you give up your perception of John such that a new way of relating to him shows up, right? What is bringing compassion, for example, look like in that conversation with him, or even exploring how do we get you to be healthy ASAP without, I'm going to tell you what to do because I know better, showing up. And like you said, the dominating side surfaces and it takes over at times, right? So so Jag, is that something you can take on?
Yeah, so we've been actually doing that this week anyway. What's amazing about Claire is that she's so aware when she does actually go there, that she actually messages me saying, can we have a quick call? So it's amazing because she's so aware when she actually goes there, and she doesn't want to go there. So then she'll like request that we have a like quick chat or whatever, just to get her present to who she's being and just to take her back there. So she's been brilliant, I think.
Okay,
actually.
Great. Really well done.
So we've had a partnership this week. We have been doing that.
Okay, fantastic to hear. So it is 8:40, guys, but I really wanted to use today's call to address this real pressing global conversation at the moment, and consider it probably is there for your participants. So look at who do you then get to be for your participants, right? For some, like the 747, this challenge may be so out of existence because there's a bigger danger hanging over them. And it's how do you keep bringing perspective to the conversations and not, again, telling them what to do, but exploring and inquiring, like, how does things occur for them? How do things occur for them? And how do we shift coming from there? As a reminder, every single one of you, please put today, Saturday's recurring reminder to get participants to do trackers for tomorrow, and Monday's recurring reminder for you guys to share updates on the chat, on the coaches chat. And let's get those zeros to move from the trackers wherever they exist. Amazing to see Thomas's progress, Anoli's progress, well done coaches. Amazing to see Preeti shifting. Like, they're just like what Diksha is causing. There's just so much movement happening, which is truly inspiring. Lais is just like off the charts. It's amazing, guys. So well done coaches for everything that you're pulling for and the conversations you're having. And there's a lot of resistance and fear now, more so than ever, with a global epidemic out there. So it really will take a different way of being and showing up such that we get to serve humanity and really transform those billion lives. So big hugs, lots of love. Tom, keep us posted on whether you're doing the marathon or not, half marathon. Jag, have a phenomenal trek and give everybody a big, big, big hug from me. I'm going to miss you all. Claire, big hugs in Spain, and Claire, keep us posted on how things unfold. All right. Love you all. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Enjoy the weekend.